Hello and welcome to the Real Estate Regroup Show. I am your host, LJ Walker, a real estate investor helping you realize your dreams of owning a home or investing in one. So, guys, let's talk about this past week here. As you know, I'm here in New York City. Today, we're going to be experiencing a solar eclipse. And this past week, we actually went through an earthquake. Earthquakes in New York City is rare. It is not common at all. Not like what goes on in California, Washington, or Oregon. Not like the West Coast. All right. The last one we had was actually in 2011, and even that one was pretty rare. So, just to let you know, as far as I wanted to just talk about the effects of those things on real estate. Okay. So with the earthquake, I was personally standing in my home and I noticed the ground moving. I noticed the floor of my house moving, but I didn't think immediately that it was an earthquake. I actually thought that maybe one of my neighbors was having some construction done on their homes. But I called them to see what was going on, and they were like, no, there's no construction, but yeah, our houses moved too. But it still didn't dawn on me. I still went out and looked to see, like if there's any construction being done, because I know that there was a scaffold, still is a scaffold outside of the building across the street from me. And the thing is, even though it's across the street, we're all connected underground through our water pipes, gas lines, and things like that. So I thought, well, maybe that was the issue. Maybe one of those servicing companies came, was doing some work, and it caused our buildings to shake. But I found out I couldn't see any truck of that size doing any kind of servicing. So I turned on my phone, went to social media by accident, and I saw Rondell's opinion, unpopular opinion. I just read the title of the video and it said, yes, we did experience an earthquake. So that's how I know, because I know that she also lives in New York City. All right. So after that particular incident, once the earthquake shook, I didn't really notice anything apparent with any of our buildings. However, the next day, I believe, when my tenants wanted to go to work, they were unable to leave the apartment. I mean, they left their apartment, they were in the hallway, but the locks on the door was messed up. They're not working well anymore. So currently, I'm waiting for a locksmith to come and fix the locks on the inside door. The outside gate is working splendidly so far, cross your fingers. However, the inside door, the locks that I have there, they're not working that well. So I'm either going to have to get them repaired or go ahead and get them replaced. That's what I'm looking into right now. Now, the other issue is most of the properties that I've seen, I've even, gone back to work physically, and I didn't see anything abnormal, if you will, on the job. On my way to the job, I just, I didn't see anything, but that doesn't necessarily mean that nobody was affected. Okay. There are some homes in New York that are very old that may have been affected, because we do have some on the street that I live in. But again, I didn't notice anything from the outside looking in. I didn't notice anything that would have been an issue, right? And the thing is that a lot of old homes in New York is not the same as old homes in other states or other parts of the world. Not to say that we're better or anything like that, but honestly, yes, the old homes, the old brownstones in New York, and I believe in other places, let's say like Chicago, they're built different. Okay. the material is different. The material lasts for like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. Plus, on top of that, the ones particularly on our block was recently renovated and redone before this whole earthquake happened, right? After the 2011 earthquake, but before this recent one here. So I don't think that those people had a problem, because they would have said something to us, being that we all live, on the same block, right? So I think that we are lucky, thank God. Okay, thank God for that. And as some of you know, this earthquake didn't just affect New York, it affected Philly and a couple of other states as well. I believe it was from Delaware all the way up to Maine, because my family in DC, they said that they didn't feel anything, but they heard and they saw the news. And then I also have friends in other states like North Carolina, Georgia. I have also family in Georgia and Florida as well. So yeah, thank God everybody was safe. Now I've been looking at a lot of YouTube, Clubhouse, and social media in general, and there seems to be a lot of fear regarding the solar eclipse. So that's why I wanted to jump in and just put my 2 cents into it. Okay. Now, there are some people from the spiritual realm that say we need to be careful and we need to be prayed up and we need to repent and this, that, and the third. We should have been doing that all along, not just right before the eclipse. But in case you haven't, to play it safe, yeah, go ahead and do that. Go ahead and do that, okay? Now, because your body is a temple, and your body to a certain degree is real estate, especially your mind, okay? But I don't want to get too spiritual with this. This is not the point of the video, all right? But then there are other fears that I see being spewed on YouTube that is actually not in agreement with what some of the reports that I've been reading when it comes to the solar eclipse. And also I said, well, let me go ahead and look at the history of solar eclipse and its effect on the economy and on the housing market. And I just wanted to share with you guys what I did find. Okay, so first and foremost, when it comes to the solar eclipse, majority of them, the economy actually did pretty well. The majority of them, the stock market rose at least 20 some odd points, okay, 20%. Now, there have been times when it rose, but it only rose 4%, and that was like back in the 70s, right? But for the most part, normally the digits are double. There have been a few times when there were solar eclipses where the economy actually tanked. And that was during the Great Depression. But guess what? The Depression happened before the solar eclipse. So you can't necessarily blame the solar eclipse for causing the Great Depression. I don't see that correlation there. There were other reasons, there were other things that caused the Great Depression after that particular instance happened, that era. Afterwards, it's pretty much gone up whenever there's a solar eclipse. So one of the reasons too why is because there are people now who have an appetite for nature, particularly when it comes to our solar system, when it comes to astronomy, astrology. Then you have the scientists, then you have psychics, right? You have mediums, and then you have certain people in certain religions, both good and bad, depending on how you look at it, that follow the sun, that follow the moon. Literally, they do. And this has actually been going on for a number of years. So listen, everybody who lives on the path where they can actually see the solar eclipse, if they are in, if they own a hotel or if they own an Airbnb, they should see a higher demand for this particular week right here that we're in. Okay? Because all the people who don't live in that area where they can see the solar eclipse, guess what? They getting on a plane, they're getting on a boat, they're taking the train, taking the car, and they're driving to where they can actually see that. So what does that mean? That means the price, that means there's going to be more consumption of gas, because you need gas in order to put into these different types of vehicles in order to get from one place to another. That's how our world works. And then, of course, now you have electric cars. So there's going to be more electricity probably in demand to go from, again, one place to another, right? Then you have people, that, of course, there are some people that, yes, they went out and they bought glasses. And then, of course, you have those that are not going to buy the glasses and they're going to go look at the solar eclipse and get their eyes messed up. But that's neither here nor there to a certain extent. But the optometrists, okay, those eyeglass doctors and the people who make eyeglasses, they're definitely going to make money. They're definitely going to be making some money this weekend. So listen, guys, I would just say, with all the fear that's being put out there, and yes, even the government to a certain extent is promoting some level of fear, because they're telling people, oh, go ahead and buy more food, buy more water, buy more gas because of the solar eclipse. Let me tell you something. They use fear to, especially, geared in that area, to scare you, because they know that when you're scared, you buy more, you spend more money. I'm not going to tell you not to. If you want to spend it, go ahead and spend it. But what I am here to tell you is that I don't think you need to be as fearful of it when it comes to the economy, when it comes to housing. I don't think you need to be, some of you, most of you don't need to be that fearful of it at all, especially if you own rentals. And as a matter of fact, those of you who own Airbnb rentals, midterm, short-term rentals, you might want to look at some of these hotels. You'll see that the hotels have spiked their prices up. For an example, I have an event that I have to go to this week. Okay, it's not today, Monday, April the 8th. It is later on this week, and it's in Philly. I'm in New York. Typically, I've been seeing $10 fares, right, between the two cities. When I was booking this, and I booked this back in January, I think it was, January or February, is when I booked this ticket. I did not see too many $10 fares between New York and Philly. In order to go, I have to leave here early in the morning, in the wee hours of the morning, in order to get that $10 ticket. If I wait 15, 30 minutes later, I'm paying $84 for the same train that goes from New York to Philly. And then coming back from Philly to New York, if I want the $10 train, I got to wait until it's 10 o'clock at night, as opposed to in the past being able to leave at 6 and 7 o'clock in the evening. Okay, so everybody, the trains, the planes, all of them, they increase their prices during this time whenever there's a solar eclipse. Hotels also increase their times. And some Airbnbs, not all, but if you're a traveler like me, you're going to get the discount at an Airbnb more so than at a hotel. Why? Because again, I book ahead of time, right? And it's always cheaper when you book ahead of time. So what did I see? In Philly, $400 rooms. I even saw an Airbnb that was $400 a night. And I was like, wait a minute, hold up. Wait a minute. That's not normal for Philly. Okay. And I go to Philly quite often. I do have family there and what have you. But this time I'm not really going there for family. I'm going there for something else. So yes, uh, because of the solar eclipse, they have raised their prices. And so if you're in real estate, hotel is real estate anyway. It's considered commercial real estate. So those of you who own hotels, um, and you are on the eastern part of the United States, it's it's normal, quite normal, to increase the price. Uh, and Airbnb. See, the thing is, a lot of people who are in Airbnb, they're not really all that familiar with the hospitality business. Some are, and so some are going to charge you that high price, right? However, for those, thank God you have those that are not familiar with the hospitality industry and they're just going to charge you the same price they charge everybody else. Now, you'll be a little bit further away from where, let's say it's a business meeting like where I'm going. You'll be a bit further from the business meeting, but it's nothing to take Uber, Lyft, or even hop on their subway or take their bus to where you need to go. And it doesn't cost that much either. What, $5 to an Uber ride just to pay maybe $100 a night as opposed to $400 a night? See what I'm saying? So, guys, um, just be smart during this particular season. Uh, I would say when it comes to, let's say, the spiritual world, you got to worry more. I would worry more about that than the economic world. And if you are somebody who plays with stocks, I would say, look historically and see what's going on. And then, of course, examine what's happening right now. And then you decide and you choose what companies would be best to invest in. Okay. But yeah, a lot of maintenance companies and repair companies, they probably making some money, because I'm pretty sure that there were some houses that weren't able to stand up through this earthquake that we had, which was like a 4.8 in some areas and a 4.3 in other areas. Yeah, there are some people going to make money. And let's not forget our plumbers, our contractors, the woodworkmen and all that. I'm pretty sure even the people who deal with stone and glass and marble and all of that, I'm pretty sure that they made some money. So get in where you can, right? Because that's real estate also. Without them, our homes we wouldn't be able to maintain our homes, pretty much, right? Right. And then if, of course, if you're not in real estate at all, meaning you don't own property, you're not one of the contractors or mechanical people, then you look at stocks and you get your money how you get your money. All right. So guys, drop down in the comments below. How do you feel about this whole thing? I really think that some of the scare tactics, particularly around the economy, might be a little bit over exaggerated. As far as this being the end of the world, that may be a little bit over exaggerated, but we all know that those people that believe that it's going to be the end of the world, that today is the last day, they're going to be spending their money. Just try to figure out where and how. And you should be able to make some money too. All right. Peace out. That's all I have for you. Hopefully the information I shared will help you make smart financial moves. Feel free to pass this amongst your friends. Remember, each one, reach one, teach one. Bye for now. Until next time. Have a good night.